Some wars don't begin with explosions. They begin with silence. Neglect doesn't announce its arrival. It doesn't come shouting or slamming doors or breaking vows. It just slowly settles in. Through busyness, through exhaustion, through that quiet lie that everything's fine. You stop looking her in the eyes. You stop asking about her heart. You start living beside your wife instead of with her. And one day, you realize she's not angry. She's gone quiet. The laughter that used to fill your home has become background noise. And the covenant that once burned with passion has cooled into quiet routine. Not because of betrayal, but all because of neglect. Neglect starts as nothing more than a faint ember. You skip prayer one night. You choose to gaze at a screen instead of into your wife's eyes. You trade conversation for convenience, calling silence peace. But peace becomes distance. Distance becomes silence, and silence becomes a chasm you never meant to create. She stops sharing her thoughts because you stop asking, and you stop pursuing her heart because you assume she knows. You call it exhaustion. You call it life. But really, all it is surrender. Neglect isn't a storm that tears things apart. It's a frost that creeps in and smothers everything it covers. Neglect doesn't steal connection in a moment. It freezes it over time. What was once warm and alive becomes numb and mechanical. You still go through the motions, but the meaning is gone. The pursuit that once felt passionate now feels like obligation.
We must give the more earnest heed to the things we have heard, lest we drift away. Hebrews 2:1.
That's not just a warning about faith. It's a mirror for your marriage. When you stop tending what God entrusted, distance sets in long before destruction does. Brother, the enemy doesn't need to destroy your covenant. He only needs to distract it, to convince you that she's fine, that you're fine, while your hearts quietly grow cold and further apart. The truth is, love doesn't usually fade out loud. It fades quietly. It fades in unspoken apologies, in uninitiated conversations, and in unchecked busyness. You can't lead a heart you've stopped pursuing, and you can't pursue her passionately if you've forgotten how to be present. Every neglected marriage follows the same path. Distraction leads to distance, and distance ends in division. You stay busy chasing goals and good intentions until busyness replaces presence. You're in the same room, but not the same world. You share a bed, but not a bond. And you trade vulnerability for efficiency and intimacy for autopilot. That distance hardens into division, not through arguments, but through apathy. You talk about bills and schedules, but not hearts. Your connection becomes functional, not relational. Your wife stops feeling seen, you stop feeling respected, and both of you build walls you never meant to construct. Walls of silence, assumption, and pride.
Be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend to your herds. Proverbs 27:23.
Your wife's heart is your greatest stewardship, and neglect always costs more than effort ever will. It costs you intimacy because closeness can't survive in distance. It costs you trust because love cannot live without presence. And what you neglect, the enemy notices. He studies your silence. He feeds on distraction and whispers, "You're fine." But that lie has drowned 1,000 covenants. Neglect doesn't happen when you stop loving her. It happens when you stop showing. Love was never meant to run on memory. It runs on intentional pursuit.
Nevertheless, I have this against you. that you have left your first love. Revelation 2:4.
That's not just for the church. It's for every husband who stopped pursuing his wife's heart. The enemy wants your home to run like a business, efficient and predictable. But God called it a covenant, alive, intimate, and holy. But here's the good news, brother. What frost has numbed, fire can revive. What neglect has dimmed, pursuit can reignite. It doesn't take fireworks, it takes focus. Small, deliberate acts of love, repeated daily. Look her in the eyes again. Ask her about her heart again. Touch her hand, not for passion, but for presence. Pray with her, even if your voice shakes. Speak life over her when the world speaks noise. You don't have to build the whole house. You just have to rekindle the fire in one room. Because when a man returns to pursuit, the whole covenant begins to breathe again.
Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. James 4:8.
The same is true of marriage. Draw near and watch connection return like oxygen to flame. You were never meant to coexist. You were meant to connect. Because connection doesn't begin with her response. It begins with your pursuit. Brother, today your mission is simple. Close that distance. Neglect begins to fade the moment you choose intentionality. And pursuit isn't about romance. It's about responsibility. Because you can't protect a covenant you're too busy to notice.
The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. Proverbs 31:11.
That kind of trust is built through daily pursuit. Not grand gestures, just consistent presence. So here's your 7-day battle plan. Day 1, I want you to write her a short note or message of gratitude. Day 2, ask her how she's really doing and listen. Day 3, pray for her by name and by need. Day 4, give her a compliment that has nothing to do with appearance. Day 5, do one task she usually does, quietly and joyfully. Day 6, sit beside her with no phone, no distractions, just be present. And day 7, tell her, you're still the one I choose. Simple acts, strong pursuit, and faithful love. Neglect is the quiet assassin of connection. It doesn't storm the gates. It lets the walls quietly crumble from within. But pursuit is your counterattack. It's how you fight back against the slow decay of distance. Your wife doesn't need you to fix everything. She just needs you to show up. Not with perfection, but with that presence. Not with speeches, but with sincerity. Because love isn't kept alive by feeling. It's kept alive by faithfulness. One of the greatest threats to your marriage isn't conflict, it's comfort. When pursuit stops, passion fades. When presence fades, the covenant weakens. But that fire can burn again. Right now, today. All it takes is one man deciding to fight for connection. Not with his fists, but with his focus and holy intentions. Forged in faith, bound by covenant. Let's get to work.